ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा। Prashnottara Ratnamalika by Adi Shankaracharya. Let us chant the verses we have covered so far. That is the first 4 verses. Kah khalunalang kriyate drishta drishtartha sadhana patiyan amuya kantasthitaya Prashnottara Ratnamalikaya. Kah khalunalang kriyate drishta drishtartha sadhana patiyan amuya kanthasthitaya Prashnottara Ratnamalikaya. Bhagavan kimupadeyam guruvachanam heyamapi kim akaryam Kah guruhu adhigata tattvaha shishya hitayotyata satatam Bhagavan kimupadeyam guruvachanam heyamapi kimakaryam Kah guruhu adhigata tattvaha shishya hitayotyata satatam Tvaritam king kartavyam vidusham samsara santati chhedaha kim mokshataror bijam samyak jnanam kriya siddham Tvaritam king kartavyam vidusham samsara santati chhedaha kim mokshataror bijam samyak jnanam kriya siddham Kah pathyataro dharmaha kah shuchiriha yasya manasam shuddham kah panditaha viveki kim visham avadhirana gurushu kah pathyataro dharmaha kah shuchiriha yasya manasam shuddham kah panditaha viveki Kim Visham Avadhirana Gurushu. So, we have begun this Prashnottara Ratnamalika, which is a short but very profound work by Adi Shankaracharya and consisting of 67 questions and answers. Fundamental but very profound questions which can come to any of us. Yeah? And hence the title says that this is a Ratnamalika. It is a garland of precious stones in the form of these 67 questions and answers. And the very first verse, opens with a question. The question is, this precious stones garland, will it not adorn the person? Will the person not be blessed by it, the one who wears it? And when it is kanthasthita is when these questions and answers are memorized and well settled in the mind, then they become the sadhana, the means for drishtarthas and adrishtarthas, for achieving the tangible goals of life and the intangible adrishta hereafter goals also. And so it would make one person patiyan. No, patiyan is the intelligent one. And so Shankara says that such a person will he not shine in the assembly of the wise. So you see, the question is, given to the audience so that it generates a curiosity. Yeah, and so we get some encouragement to dive into the text. Now, this method is not a new method. All the traditional Shastras apply this method. Have we not seen it in the Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna asks questions and Krishna replies. Then again in the Upanishads, we have dialogues between young Nachiketa and Yama, or Maitreyi and Yajnavalkya and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Yeah? So this method of raising a question, yeah, and answering the question is called the Akanksha method. Akanksha means, a desire or expectation. So this kind of approach, raising questions and answering, stimulates the mind. So even as I'm doing Shravanam, Mananam is happening. Mananam is Samshaya Nivritihi. That is, when I'm doing Shravanam, there will be a lot of pending questions. But Mananam is going to give me answers to those pending questions. Yeah, so it's like a 2-in-1. Shravanam and Mananam is happening. Yeah, so that is the opening verse also, which is in the form of a question. Yeah. Now we will proceed to the onwards, and before that, let us just quickly look at the questions and answers, very briefly revisit them that we have covered. Yeah, from verse 2 onwards. O Bhagavan, kim upadeyam? What should be the pursuit in life? And a one-word answer is Guru Vachanam. Yeah. Now we know that the Guru means what? Guru means Guru plus Shastra. Yeah, Guru plus Shastra will help the Jiva navigate through the stages of life. Yeah. So if we are fortunate to have a live Guru, nothing like it. But if not, also we have so many works left behind, Kanchi Mahaperiva's Daivatin Kural is there. So many amazing texts are there, and we'll find all the guiding instructions there. Then Heyam api kim? Heyam is what is to be avoided in life. Yeah. And the simple answer there also, Akaryam. Akarya means that which is not to be done. Yeah. Like Arjuna's case, he wants to retreat from the battle. That is Akaryam. And then he is not able to see it as Akaryam because there is confusion between Karyam and Akaryam. Yeah? And so the whole Gita is devoted to that one question. And then how Krishna removes the moha from the mind of Arjuna. So Akaryam. Then who is the Guru? Now, who is the Guru? Is Adhigata Tattvaha, the one who is the embodiment of the highest wisdom. Knowledge in our Shastras are of two kinds. One is the worldly knowledge, which helps me survive in this world, and the other is Paravidya. And that teaches me to intelligently maneuver through this world. So the Guru, is an embodiment of both. Yeah? And who is constantly doing what? Shishya hitaya udyataha satatam. Constantly engaged in uplifting the student. Yeah. So we see this, that it need not be, the Guru need not be in the physical proximity. Yeah. Even just a mental bonding is enough. If we have that Shraddha, we can get the answers. Yeah. And then ultimately, of course, there is the inner Guru. And the external Guru is only going to unfold and unlock that inner Guru in us. Yeah? Then fourth was, what will the wise people hurry to do? What will their priority be? Samsara Santati Chedaha. Yeah? Santati is progeny, but here it is flow. So the samsara tendency in the mind is to flow outwards, downwards, worldwards. Yeah, growing, multi-branched are our pursuits. Yeah, so to cut the flow of the mind, and that is why, you might have seen that the traffic signals in the US, there was a signboard which says, stop, look, proceed. Stop, look, proceed. Yeah, the traffic signal sign, which means what? We are living such intense, hectic lives. Sometimes they become very mechanical. We just go on from Monday to Friday, weekend comes and back to Monday. Yeah. So we have to press the pause button and then begin to ask certain fundamental questions like these. Yeah. And then we begin to understand the purpose of life. Where did I come from? Where am I going? So all that is what the wise people will do. Yeah. Then Kim Moksha Taroho Bijam. How can I grow the tree of freedom? Where is the seed? And the answer is Samyak Jnanam. Samyak Jnanam is the most favorite word of Shankaracharya. In the Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam of the 18 chapters, Shankaracharya uses it so many times. Samyak Jnanam, attain that Samyak Jnanam. Samyak Jnanam is what? That Paravidya. Yeah? The clear knowledge. And that is accomplished by Kriya Siddham. When I live in a meaningful Shastra-based life, yeah, through my actions, that is the Vedic way of life, then that will take me to that Samyak Jnanam. And that is the seed for the tree of liberation. Yeah. Then what is the Pathyam? Pathyam is the regimen. Yeah. What is beneficial in life? Dharma. Yeah. So dharma is a value-based life. And again, it is to be interpreted from many different angles. What is my social dharma? And Stri dharma, Purusha dharma, Swadharma, Samanya dharma. Puja Swamiji's, there is a book. Next time I will display it. An excellent book. It is called The Value of Values. The Value of Values. So in that, Puja Swamiji takes, I think, 20 values, which are all there in chapter 13 of the Gita. Amanitvam, Madambittam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Rajavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atmavinigraha. And there you can see the galaxy of the dharma, value of values. Yeah? Why should we speak the truth? What do I lose by speaking lies? All that is covered in great detail. Then Kaha Shuchihi, who is clean? We take a bath every day, but here it is referring to the Sukshma Shariram. The Sukshma Shariram is going to gather malam every day because of Vyavahara. We interact with so many people every day. So there is bound to, to be the Sukshma malam in the form of Raga Dveshas. The Shankaracharya says the impurity of the mind, which one cannot see, but which manifests every day is what? Raga Dvesha. Attractions and aversions, turbulent likes and dislikes. And we have seen in the Gita how by doing what is to be done, life of Ishvara Arpana Bhavana and Prasada Buddhi or Karma Yoga, we can dilute the Raga Dveshas. Who is a Pandit? Panditaha Kaha is the Viveki, who has Viveka. And Viveka is discrimination. Yeah. At every stage, I can discriminate. Why am I doing this? Do I need to buy this today? Is this my dharma? Where am I going? Where did I come from? All this, the Viveki will ask these questions. There is another text by Shankaracharya called Viveka Chudamani. Viveka Chudamani means the crest jewel, Chudamani of Viveka. It has 500 plus verses. Excellent book on, the treasure that is Viveka. In fact, it is the greatest treasure. And the Upanishads say, if we have not applied this treasure, the buddhi in our life, we have as good as wasted this life. We have locked up the treasure called Buddhi and Viveka and just carrying on in a mechanical manner. Then last question we covered was Visham. What is poison? Yeah? And poison is Avadhirana Gurushu. Avadhirana is neglecting the wise people who deserve respect. So it shows the inner attitude. Of course, it need not only be the wise people. We have to show it towards everything, nature, to young, old, everybody. And then if the attitude is improper towards our elders, teachers, gurus, and sajjanas, then we cannot benefit from their way of life. The heart will be closed. Yeah? And so these 9 questions and answers we completed. So you can see how brief and crisp the answers are, because they are meant to be a capsule, and the capsule has to be digested over time. Yeah? Now let us proceed to the 5th verse. Kim samsare saram, kim samsare saram, bahushopi vichintyamanamidameva, bahushopi vichintyamanamidameva, kim samsare saram, bahushopi vichintyamanamidameva, kim manujeshvishtatamam swaparahitayodyatam janma, kim manujeshvishtatamam swaparahitayodyatam janma. So there are a couple of questions here also. Kim samsare saram? That is the first question, or in our sequence, question number 10. And answer is Bahushopi, Bahushaha api vichintyamanam idam eva. I'll show you the next question. So, Kim samsare saram? Yeah. Now, samsara is not family, wife, and children. Yeah, samsara is the world, or in the Vedantic context, samsara is samyak sarati. Samyak sarati means that which goes round and round. Yeah. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Samsara. But what is the saram? What is the essence? That is the question here. Yeah. And what is the answer? Bahushaha api vichintyamanam idam eva. Yeah. Idam eva. So Acharya is saying the question itself is the answer. So Bahushaha api vichintyamanam. The question has the answer because one has to contemplate on the nature of samsara. Yeah. And vichintyamanam means contemplate again and again. Yeah. So this question is to be contemplated upon repeatedly. Yeah. In another text, the famous Vajagovindam, Shankaracharya, very strongly puts again different questions, Kate kanta kaste putraha samsaro yamativa vichitraha tasya tvam kah kuta ayataha tattvam chintaya tadiha bhrataha. Ask these questions, who is it that you call your son? Who is it that you call your beloved? Who are you? What belongs to you? Where did you come from? Yeah. Is samsara not vichitram? Samsaraha ayam vichitram. Ativa, very mysterious and glorious. Yeah. So tattvam chintaya tad iha bhrata. Oh brother, you contemplate on the tattvam. No? So by saram, we also mean the root. What is the nature of samsara? Has it got a standing? Is it fluctuating? Is it permanent? Inquire. And as we develop this jignasa, the answers will come. Some of you would remember chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga chapter. The very first verse, Urdhva Moolamadash-shakam Ashvatham Prahuravyam. Samsara is compared to an Ashvatha Vriksha. But the moolam, the root or the saram is where? Urdhvam. Yeah? Urdhva means it is beyond the range of my vision. Yeah. Just as we cannot see the roots of a visible tree. No, it's underground. So the tree of samsara is so wide. We don't know where it ends. It's got branches, leaves, fruits, flowers, and we are perched on this tree. So here in this question, Shankara is saying, inquire into the tattvam, into the saram, into the moolam. Where did the tree come from? Yeah. And that moolam is Ishvara. Nimitta Upadana Karanam, Jagat Karanam, Ishvara. Yeah. And that is this question. Then in the same verse, we have the next question, which is, yeah, Kim Manujeshu Ishtatamam. Yeah, Sandhi de Kim Manujeshu Ishtamam. Tamam is the superlative degree. So what is most desirable for human beings? Yeah, what is most dear for human beings? Yeah, and what is the answer Acharya gives here? Swa para hitaya udyatam janma. Yeah, that is a janma that we've already got by the grace of Bhagavan. But a life dedicated to parahita, that is seva of others, and swahita, oneself, seva of oneself. Both are to be included. Now, we all know very well parahita. So we are serving our families, our neighbors, our community, our country, maybe doing Panchamaha Yajna, so many ways to serve, no? But here, Acharya includes the swahita. No? How can we serve oneself? Is it a selfish notion? No. Shastra says that if you don't devote time to self-study, self-knowledge, then we will just be, doing, of course, karma yoga, seva is a very good thing. It brings purity of mind, but that is only the stepping stone to gaining the jnanam. What kind of jnanam? My true nature. Yeah. So Puja Swamiji will say, the time that you spend on yourself in this manner, in a traditional study or in meditation, or for uplifting your mind is the best gift you can give to yourself. Uttaret atmana atmanam natmanam avasadayet. Gita said, lift your mind by your own mind. Yeah. Now, how important it is, because if my mind is confused or, upset or depressed, then the world will also appear like that, because the world is like even a reflected city in a mirror. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. Dakshinamurti Stotram, very first verse says, the world is not outside of you. The world is experienced in your mind. So if the mind is sattvic and knowledgeable and balanced, we will find the world to be a very good place to live in. And it will be a very healthy living for us. So the investment in self-knowledge, study of the Gita, Upanishads, whenever there's an opportunity, that will bring rich dividends. Many people think Gita, Upanishads, we can study it, post-retirement, and so the whole life is spent in serving, society, family. But what is likely to happen at the, post-retirement stage? Maybe we lack strength, the senses are become weaker, yeah. And can the mind concentrate on the content of the Shastras is again a question. Yeah? So the one who is well informed of the content of the Shastra would be a informed and a healthy grihini, a healthy professional, a healthy parent, a healthy student, any walk of life, any stage of life, this is to be done. Swa para hitaya udyatam janma, and to balance it. Yeah? So these are the two questions in verse 5. Now let's go to verse 6. Madirev mohajanakah kaha. Madirev mohajanakah kaha. Snehaha, snehaha. Kechadasyavo vishayaha. Kechadasyavaha vishayaha. Ka bhavavalli Trishna ko vairi. Yastvanudyogaha, yastvanudyogaha. Madira iva mohajanakaha kaha. Sneha. So here, let's see the question. So here is the question, number 12. Madira eva mohajanakaha kaha. Moha, we know, delusion. Janaka means that which causes. So what is it that causes or generates moha, like even an intoxicant, a stimulant, is the question here. Yeah. And again, we have a very, very crisp answer here. Sneha. Sneha. Sneha comes from snih, snih dhatu. You know, snih means to, you know, it's like this oily substance is called snih, no? Like oil and honey, no? These are all lehium and snih. So sneha is called attachment, but Shankaracharya means blind attachment. Yeah. So this sneha, and we can put a ati sneha, you know. Excessive attachment is going to cause delusion in my mind, like an intoxicant, a stimulant. Yeah. Why? Because when there is attachment, it blinds me. No, I lose sight of the goal, and I lose the inner balance, and there are expectations. Whatever I'm attached to, there will be expectations. You know, children must be like this way. Children must always be with me. They must call me once or twice a week and take care of me when I'm old. Yeah, all because of attachments. Yeah, and so this makes one lose the sense of direction and emotional dependence. You know, this is called paravasham. You know, what causes sorrow is my dependence on something. It becomes a crutch. Then not physical crutch, emotional crutch is meant here. A physical crutch, I may need a walker, I may need a wheelchair, or, you know, whatever. But emotional crutch is to be addressed, and that is meant here. Attachment leads to emotional crutches, you know, where there is a dependence. And wherever there is a dependence, there will be sorrow. Yeah? So what to do now? As a parent, should I not be attached to my children, you know, or to my parents? Well, yes and no. See, we have to understand the difference between love and attachment, which I'm sure you all know. Love is a noun, not a verb. Love is my true nature. Like in nature, we see, you know, a tree is so loving. It's inviting us all the time, flowers. Yeah. But attachment is binding. In attachment, I'm not giving space for the other person. You know, there is a hidden bond which is tugging at our hearts. And attachment will always make me weaker, you know, and sad. But love, in love, I give space. I'm free from expectations. I can grow and let others also grow. Yeah, that is the beauty of this love and attachment. No? So that is question number 12. And now let's move to the next question. Ke cha dasyavo. Dasyavo is to be read as dasyavaha. Yeah. Dasyahu is a thief. So ke cha dasyavaha. Who are the dacoits and the thieves? Yeah. The thieves that you know, rob the mind. That is meant here. No? And what is the answer here? Again, how brief are the answers? Vishayaha. See, Vishayaha, Vishaya means subject matter, right? But here in this context, it means the sense objects. Vishayaha. Sense objects of the world are the dacoits and the thieves. Wow. What are the sense objects? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Now we have all of us, most of us would know this, no, from Tattvabodha. But for the new students, we have this Pancha Jnanendriyani, right? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And the whole world enters my mind through these gates. Yeah? And they bring in Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Yeah? So the data itself are not thieves. Who is the culprit? My mind will interpret the incoming data in a certain way, yeah, and then decide. What will the buddhi decide? Dhyayato vishayan punsaha sangaste shupajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate. The Gita we have seen in chapter 2. That the mind will begin to dwell on a certain sense object and then goes out through that gate and then fulfills that desire. And then that can lead to further developments and finally addictions. Yeah? And that is why Vishayaha are called as thieves, because they rob that sense of discrimination in my mind. I'm pursuing my goal, and the sense objects may distract me, may tempt me to fulfill something, and I have fallen away from the goal. The Srimad Bhagavatam, I have shared this before, that gives a description of how there are creatures which fall a prey to these vishayas. Like the example of the fish. What does the fish do? Because of the taste, it will fall for the bait of the fisherman, and it gets caught. And the moth, the moth will be attracted towards the light form, eyes, and then it just falls, dead by the bright light. Yeah? Then the deer, the deer is for the sense of sound. The deer will listen to a special drum beat, and it will be attracted and then get trapped by the hunters. Yeah? Then the elephant is given example for the twak, how the sense of skin, the skin indriya will trap the elephant because of in the mating season. They trap a female elephant and the male elephant will follow, and both of them are caught. Yeah? Then there is the bee, honey bee, and it will be attracted by the fragrance of the flowers. And then it goes and settles on the flower, and then what happens? Evening, Sandhya Kala, flower closes and it perishes. Yeah? So in the Bhagavatam, it says that these creatures, they fall prey to one Vishaya, but the human being succumbs to all the five. So that will lead to the ultimate ruin. And that is why in our culture, we have all these forms of tapas, is it not? Fasting, yesterday was also Ekadashi and Maunam, and so that we have, we don't let the Vishayas control me. Rather, I have a good grip on them. Yeah? Does not mean that we become totally super ascetic and just, not enjoy anything in life. No, but to see who's the boss, that is meant here. So these are the thieves, and and there is a Subhashitam also which says, the more we enjoy anything in life, we listen to a lot of music, like today, social media, everybody is browsing. Then we are not enjoying the objects, but the sense objects are enjoying us, as Subhashitam says. How are they enjoying us? Because they are wearing me out. What is happening today? We are losing eyesight, drying of the eyes, because I am, browsing too much. Screen time has increased, and the more sound I hear, and the more I talk, then I will be weakened in course of time. So that is another thing we can understand how their vishayas are like thieves. They rob me of the mental energy and discrimination and ultimately ruin us totally. Yeah? Then let's see the next question. So Vishayaha. Next one is, would seem like a repetition. Ka Bhavavalli. Now, Valli means a creeper. Yeah. Ka Bhavavalli. Bhava means the samsara, Bhavasagar. So the samsara, or the world of enjoyment and pleasure, is compared to the creeper. No? So what is the creeper of the life of becoming? No? What is the creeper means? What is the cause, let's say? Now we can reformulate the question. And the answer given is Trishna. No? Trishna means thirst. No? And thirst means greed. Yeah. So this is the cause of samsara, Valli. No? And how does greed arise? Greed or Trishna or Kamaha? Kama arises because of self-ignorance. No, the Shankaracharya keeps saying the cycle of samsara, how did it begin? Ignorance. No? Because of self-ignorance, I desire something in the world. I want to be adequate. I want to be successful and fulfilled. I want this and that, be like that person, have what she has. So there is kama. No? Then when the kama becomes stronger, kama initially is harmless. But if it becomes like a strong dominating desire, it becomes Trishna at a later stage. And Trishna will be fulfilled only through karma, yeah? Pursuit. And karma will yield karma phalam. Yeah? Karma phalam is the fruit of the result. I may get that object, I may not get it. In the Gita, we have seen that Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangaste Shupajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate. If I'm able to fulfill my Trishna, okay, I will get the object that I desired. I'll be happy how long? For some time. Then what will happen? I will be afraid of losing that object. And then even worse, I will want to enjoy it again and again because it has formed a samskara in my mind. And so there is no end. If I fulfill one desire, Shankaracharya says it is like adding ghee to fire. Will the fire ever say no, enough? No. The ghee will, stimulate and, tend the fire even more. So these teachings are, for us mumukshus, and that is why they are so strong and to the point. Yeah. So discriminate the desires. A harmless desire, a sattvic desires are not meant here. Yeah. That those desires which are rajasic and tamasic, which rob me of my peace of mind, when I allow them to grow to Trishna stage, then it will yield to negative results. What if the desire is not fulfilled? I'll be frustrated, anger, something has obstructed it, and again I'm back to samsara. So what do the wise do? No? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnasta dochyate. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. The wise, as and when the desires, pop up in my mind, they begin to discriminate. We can't stop the desires from rising, but we can stop them from pursuing the desires, and that's what the wise do. Yeah? So they nip it in the bud. They say, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. So I'm just going to observe the play of the desires in my mind and not go with the flow. Yeah? Another very beautiful verse from chapter 2, Gita. Yeah? So that is the nature of Trishna. So Trishna keeps, the samsara going. Then question 15. Now, here is the next verse. Kaha Vairi. Yeah. Yeah. Kaha Vairi. Who is the enemy? Enemy in life. And here Acharya gives a very practical answer. Yahatu anudyogaha. Yahatu anudyogaha. Udyogaha means what? Udyogaha means industry. To be busy. But anudyogaha means the opposite. Idleness, laziness. No? Yahatu anudyogaha. That is the idle person who does not put the proper effort. Yeah, the proper effort is meant here is the enemy. Now we know in English an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Yeah, why? Because I'm sure we have all tried it. When we just sit doing nothing, just idle. What is likely to happen is all the Trishnas and the Snehas and the Kamas can rush in, because there is a vacuum. I'm not speaking of jnanis. Jnanis, even when they're quiet, they are in a contemplative space. Yeah. But until we reach that stage, we have to keep the mind in a focused manner, because the mind is like a river. No? Can we stop the river from flowing? No. So the mind will take the downward tendency. It will flow towards all the vishayas, and attractions, the temptations of the world. This is the normal tendency of the mind. Any mind you take, the tendency to be attached, to go downward, to seek pleasures is very natural. Yeah? In fact, a question Nachiketa asks Yama is this question. Why did the God create, this extroverted tendency of the mind and the senses? Why should they go out in search of all these pleasures, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha? Why can't it be naturally contemplative and abiding peacefully? And Yama, goes on with the Upadesha and says, because we need to do sadhana to turn inwards. So here, again, Acharya says that when we have a proper routine in life, in the initial stages of our life, the Vedas say, do karma yoga, lead an active life. If you're a grihastha, one is naturally busy. So it is such an activity-oriented stage of life. Yeah, but in addition, do Panchamahayajnas, do your japa, your parayanam, so that the sattvic content of the mind will increase. And the more the sattvic content, the more calm the mind will be. And so if we don't do the proper action at the proper stage of life, brahmacharya is the stage of study and yoga and service. Grihastha is earning and spending in a proper way, looking after the family, supporting the other 3 ashramas. Then Vanaprastha is 50 plus, is japa, parayanam, upasanas, shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. Then what will happen? The mind will be mature to enter into the last stage, sannyasa. Renunciation by knowledge. Yeah? So then there will be, the mind will be like a ripe fruit. Yeah? Graciously abiding in that knowledge. Yeah? So here, it is very, very important to have a routine. Yeah, I'm sure all of you have routines. Yeah? There's a routine for the exercise, routine for family, routine for television, routine for evening walk, cooking, office, everything if we prioritize, and not to forget the routine for oneself. Swahitaya, we saw that earlier, to devote time to oneself also. Some students, especially the grihasthas, I have seen, sometimes there is a sense of guilt, for a mother, especially for mothers, first thing will come to the mind, Swadharma. I have to look after the child, look after the child, look after the child. So they cannot distinguish between love and sneha, attachment. Yeah? Forgetting that a stronger mother, a well-informed, the one who has studied the Gita can be, a much more informed mother who can take care of the family in a better way. Yeah? So this generally happens. And that is why people come to Gita Upanishad study, around 40, 40 plus. Yeah? But at least one should come to the study. That is the idea here. Okay, so that is Anudyogaha is the enemy. Yeah. Now again, we have to not, take it literally that, there is, they're always, doing something or the other, something or the other. Yeah, we can always find time to, gaze at the sky, be in nature. And today I read a beautiful post by, David Frawley, Dr. David Frawley, who says that, today, because we're all indoors, we're all spending time on computers and indoors all the time. And this is the backlog of this Corona period. So we are not having access to positive prana, not being outdoors, not gazing at the night sky, enjoying the breeze and spending time in the full moon, which our forefathers would do. Every full moon would be a celebration outdoors. Yeah. So we have to balance it out. That is the idea here. Now, next verse 7. Yeah. Let's chant it first. Kasmad bhayam iha, kasmad bhayam iha, maranat, maranat, andhat iha kaha vishishyate, andhat iha kaha vishishyate, ragi, ragi, kaha shuraha, yo lalana lochana banaihi, न च व्यथितः कस्मात् भयम् इह मरणात् अन्धात् इह कः विशिष्यते रागी कः शूरः यः ललना लोचन बाणैः न च व्यथितः. It looks complex, but it is not. So let's see the questions in this verse. Kasmat bhayam iha. Bhayam is fear. Yeah. So what is the cause of all fear in this world? Yeah. Is there anyone who is fearless? Yes, the jnanis, the sthita prajnahas. And so what is the answer here? Obvious answer is maranam, death. No? Everyone would have, in the background, the thought. What is the thought? I am mortal. I was born on this date. I am aging now. I am becoming weaker and I'm going to die. Or one will have a thought of losing somebody else. And this causes fear and anxiety in us, despite knowing that it is very natural. Yeah? Death has to, Yama has to do his duty. Yeah? Now, what the Shastras say is that these conclusions, I'm old, I'm aging, I'm mortal, I'm going to die, these are conclusions drawn by you. And they need not be absolutely correct. In fact, they are not correct. So, as students of Vedanta, we know Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Puranaha Nahanyate Hanyamani Sharire Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavakaha Nachainam Kledayantyapaha Nashoshayati Marutaha. The 5 elements cannot touch Atma. Yeah. And you are the presence that is not visible. Tattvataha. In reality, you are not subject to time and hence not subject to aging, change and death. Yeah? This is the Tattva Jnanam, Samyak Jnanam. This is the ultimate truth, which I have to know. But what has happened? Because I'm identified with the Shariram, I have these conclusions. I'm fat, I'm dark, I'm foolish, I'm wise, I'm this, I'm that. No? But then the Shastra says all these are conclusions. Yeah. And death also, the Gita is talking again and again about how death is a point of transition where there is a change of costume. Sadhguru of Isha Center has put it very nicely. We should learn to be off stage also. We should be ready. I saw this in the Isha Center that now we are all on stage, right? We have our costumes, that is this body, and we are playing our roles in life. Yeah, but then what happens in the green room? There I have to change costumes. So everybody has to come to terms of the fact that I will be off stage one day and change of costumes will happen. But then the Shastra says, know who you are. Who am I? Yeah. Why do the Shastras call me Amrita Putraha and Amrita Putri? We are the children of immortality. Why should the Vedas say that? Because nobody can accept the fact that I will cease to exist. We cannot accept that. Why? Because we are immortal. Yeah? Amritam, Amritihu is my true nature. Yeah? And that is the Samyak Jnanam that Acharya talks about. Yeah? And in fact, this is also Nachiketa's question to Yama. In the Kathopanishad, Nachiketa asks, Lord Yama, tell me what is it or who is it that survives death? Yeah? I want to know that. So, and the content of the answer is the Kathopanishad. So the Shastra says that death cannot be the goal of life. The goal of life is to live a very meaningful, intelligent, prayerful, Shastra-based life. The Shastras give us all the instructions needed for this life and whatever is to follow after this life. Like in the Taittiriya Upanishad, there are instructions. Satyam vada, dharmam chara, matradevo bhava, pitradevo bhava, acharya devo bhava, swadhyaya na pramaditavyam, mamsam na bhikshayet, suram na pibet. All the do's and don'ts are there. Be a vegetarian, respect your elders, speak the truth, don't cause injury to others, don't neglect study, swadhyaya. Yeah? And then it continues to also how I live this present life is going to form the trajectory in the future. So let me not be anxious or obsessed with death. Yeah, rather it is, to be living in the present moment and enriching it. That is the idea. Then 17th. 17th question. Andhat iha kaha vishishyate. Andha is the blind. No? Andhat is more than the blind, worse than the blind. Kaha vishishyate, who excels? So who in this world is worse off than the blind? Yeah? That is our question number 17. And again, a very, very crisp answer, ragi. Now this ragi is not our ragi malt. Ragi means raga asya asti iti ragi. The one who has ragaha. Ragaha means affection, the likes and dislikes that we saw earlier. Yeah? So one who is possessed by strong raga dvesha. I love this and hence I pursue this. I want this. I cannot live without it. Dvesha is I run away from something I dislike or hate it. I don't want it. Like Arjuna, we can say it is a dvesha. He is begin to he is facing his own raga dveshas. He is saying, I have raga for sannyasa life and dvesha for the Kurukshetra battle. So these raga dveshas, Shankaracharya says, are the impurities in my mind, which is causing turbulence, which is preventing me from doing what is to be done. Yeah? So a ragi will be worse off than a blind person. Yeah? Because he will come under the grip of these two turbulent currents in the mind. Yeah? Strong likes and dislikes. Yeah? Then we go to the next question, 18. Kaha Shuraha. Shuraha is, we know, who has Shauryam, yeah? Who is heroic. Yeah? Who is the brave person? And I'm sure we all know the answer. The brave person is like a Nachiketa, is it not? Who is pursuing the highest, question. What is it that survives death at the age of 8? Who can be more heroic than that? But here the answer is a little different. And what is the answer by Acharya? Yaha lalana lochana banaihi nacha vyadhitaha. Lalana lochana banaihi nacha vyadhitaha. This is a bit controversial here. Why? I will explain. Lalana means a woman, a lady. Lochana is eyes. Banaihi is arrows. And vyadhitaha means attacked. So Acharya is saying, the one who does not succumb to the temptations of a woman. Yaha lalana lochana banehi nacha vyaditaha. One is not struck by the arrows of lust. Now in this modern age of gender equality, can we accept this answer? That is, are the women causing temptations for the man? It is both ways. So this question, Swamiji would in a humorous tone say, this question and answer is from a male-dominated society, blaming the woman for everything. Yeah. So there is a fascination for the woman, for the man, and man for the woman. Yeah. But this question is for anything. Anything can be a temptation these days, especially online, the media, how it is, one is tempted and drawn into for hours and hours. Yeah. That is the temptation talked about here. Yeah? Any temptation. Yeah. So the answer was, the one who's not tempted. Yeah. Who's not tempted means the one who will pursue his goal, short-term goal or long-term goal. And that is why, when nowadays, when we have to study something, students have to study every 10 minutes, they want a snack or a distraction, because so much turbulence is there. So the longer I'm able to dwell on a subject shows the strength of my mind, and that person is brave who can turn his or her back upon temptations for that duration and do what is to be done. Yeah? That was question number 18. I think there are just a couple of more questions and then we are done. Okay, verse 8. Then let us read the verse and then we will stop. Patum karnanjalibhihi. It's actually patum and not pantum. Patum karnanjalibhihi kim amritam iha yujyate sat upadeshaha. Patum karnanjalibhihi kim amritam iha yujyate sat upadeshaha. Kim gurutayaha moolam. Kim gurutayaha moolam. Yadetat aprarthanam nama. So in this verse 8, there are two questions. Patum karnanjalibhihi kim amritam iha yujyate. So what is amritam for my ears? What Amritam is fit to be drunk by the ears. You know, Anjali Mudra, you all know, no? Anjali, where we receive with the hands. But here, Karnanjali Bihi, by the Anjali Mudra of the Karnas, ears, what is fit to be drunk here in this world? Yeah. What? And of course, we all know the answer. It is Sat Upadesha. Sat Upadesha is the teaching of the wise, or Satsanga, company of the wise, whether it is direct offline Satsanga or online Zoom Satsanga. That is when we are getting the Sat Upadesha. No? See, normally in Vyavahara, what happens when we interact? No? Generally, it will be about the worldly topics, right? About work or family or school, college issues and all that. So in the process, there will be disagreements and opinions and, lot of these kind of news. Yeah? But here, Satupadesha is the Shastras and Guru are always saying, Tattvamasi, you are Satchit Ananda Swarupaha, you are Amritam, you are Amrityuhu, you were never born, you are timeless, you are formless, no? So it's pleasant all the way. Yeah. And that is why Shankaracharya says in the Bhajagovindam also, Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamati. So when we have Satsanga and Sat Upadesha, in the beginning, it will be very difficult to do this alone. That is why we need company. So in the company of like-minded, truth-seeking other seekers and students, then I can also change. Yeah? That is done by this Sat Upadesha. Yeah? And then that Sat Upadesha will show me the way. Viveka, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatihi, Mumukshutvam, Jnana Sadhana, all that will fall into place. Yeah? And now let us do just one last question briefly, because it's part of this verse. 20th. Kim Gurutayaha Moolam. Guruta means greatness. Yeah? See, Sanskrit students would know there are two meanings for Guru. One meaning is Acharya, familiar meaning. The second meaning is heavy or great. Yeah? So Guruta means greatness. Gurutayaha Moolam. What is the reason that makes a person great and respectable in society? And the answer is Yadetat Aprarthanam Nama. Yadetat Aprarthanam Nama. Nama means a name for oneself. One carves a name in society, the name, fame, or respect that is earned and deserved and not demanded and asked for. Yeah? So what this really means is unsolicited name, fame, respect. So when we stretch out our hands and say, give me your support, give me your likes, give me your comments, then I'm depending on the world for support, appreciation, approval, then only I am okay. That is the samsara here. Yeah. And so here it is referring to the great ones who just do what is to be done. And then fame, name, respect comes and sticks to them. Yeah. Like a flower. A flower will never advocate how fragrant I am. It just wafts and the bees all come. Yeah. So to the great gurus, like Puja Swamiji, who campaign, even at ripe age, they do something that will bring a smile on the other person's face or enrich the society and country in some way. Once Puja Swamiji told Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister, come to Rishikesh to meet Swamiji. Then Swamiji said, just one sentence, you must do something fantastic for our country. You must do something really good. So these Sat Guru Padeshas are received by humble people like a Modi, and then they're able to transform, the whole country. Yeah? So too, like Sri Sri and Satguru, you might have seen the Save Soil campaign. See, they are already abiding in the highest knowledge. So they don't have to go and save the world, but they do it out of compassion. Yeah? So that is the cause of greatness. Yeah? Not demanding it, but through a life of greatness and doing what is to be done, they invite all the greatness. It reminds me of the great late Dr. Kalam also. How beautifully he said, even when he is in an elevator, he will think, what can I do for the person opposite to me? I can give at least a smile. So the thought that I must do something for somebody rather than what can I get from that person? How can I be benefited? That is samsaric thinking. Yeah? But how can I give? And Swami Shivananda also beautifully said we should not wait for such opportunities. Let us be aggressive in showing our interest in improving, uplifting others. No? So I think we'll stop at this number 20 and conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.